So I know most of you probably already know this, but I want to remind you that privacy on Bitcoin is not as great as many people think, especially when they start out. So the system in general, it's actually pseudonymous, not anonymous. So even if you do everything right and you're not KYC'd right now, or you start out like that, you still live in constant danger of being de-anonymized if you do something wrong, or if somebody who you transact with does something wrong. And so users of Bitcoin then instead or have to turn to tools and protocols like CoinJoins to fix that problem. And unfortunately, the use of these tools comes with some costs. So these costs are, I would say, broadly increased complexity. You cannot use any wallet, you have to use a specialized wallet, and it also often comes with additional fees. These can be fees that are coming from service providers that you have to go with, or like additional transactions, larger transactions. And both of these effects lead to the fact that it's kind of unattractive for general users to use CoinJoins or other protocols like this by default. And so this is where CISA potentially can be a game changer in the future. CISA is a Bitcoin protocol upgrade, so you cannot do it today, but it's something that we want to work on. And the effect of it would be that you can reduce the size of a Bitcoin transaction by aggregating its signatures. You probably know that smaller transactions lead to lower fees on the Bitcoin chain because you use less space of the block. And that's great, like everyone likes to save money. But what does it have to do with privacy? So this effect actually increases with larger transactions, and especially transactions that have a lot of inputs. And what are these kinds of transactions? For example, CoinJoins. CoinJoins have a lot of inputs and are pretty large transactions. So if you participate in a CoinJoin, with this upgrade, it can make CoinJoin actually not just the privacy increase, but also give you a discount on achieving more privacy. So it can be cheaper than actually like just using your own transaction, using a normal wallet. And that's a very great promise for the future, and something that is very promising. So in terms of actual size, here's some numbers. There's a lot more detail to it, but we have to gloss over that in the interest of time. But you can save over 40% at the max in terms of the actual transaction size. And that translates roughly to about 15% of fees that you can save. So sometimes when I give these numbers, people are not that impressed by it. But still keep in mind that this is on top of actually becoming much more private with your transactions. So if you look at a standard transaction, like this is kind of the worst case scenario, like really the standard transaction, you use one UTXO and you pay someone and you have one change output. This is becoming about 10% cheaper if you go through a CoinJoin instead, a CoinJoin with 100 inputs, 100 outputs. And then also, I think for this audience here, very interesting also, if you want to aggregate some donation UTXOs, like small outputs that you have received in the past, that also becomes a lot cheaper. So if you aggregate 100 of these into one, you also save over 25%. So what would this mean for a potential future with CISA? You would, in general, have lower fees overall on the network. The use of CoinJoins could be normalized. So a lot of wallets that are maybe, like right now, it's kind of a novelty to be supported by a wallet, but it could be more of the norm for wallets to use it. That means also we have a larger anonymity set. And this is all still voluntary and very very open, so you don't have to do it, but it's a great offer. So now you're asking, when do we actually get this? Unfortunately, at this point, we don't really have a proposal yet. That's what I'm working on. That's other people are also working on this. But we are still on the way to get to an actual proposal that we can discuss and that we can think about implementing. And so to kind of speed us up on the way, I created CISAresearch.org. It's a website. It's designed to be both an easy on-ramp, but also give you very in-depth information and dive deeper, also additional resources that you can down to. So So it should be helpful to you even if you're not technical and you don't know anything about Bitcoin aside from maybe just doing normal transactions right now. This should be putting you on the path, but also if you're a developer and you're looking for your next open source project, this should also be able to guide you to like what the latest state is and how you can become active. So yeah, please visit the website. Feedback is very much welcome, and let's make Bitcoin a little bit more private.